What's up guys, welcome to another video. Today we got a really interesting one for you. I'm going to be paint matching a few things for my car. Those of which will be including, I have a front lip, side skirts. I'm going to be removing the front bumper off the Civic and the spoiler on the back as well. And paint matching everything. Obviously the front bumper will be repainted, but all the rest of it is just a black plastic that I'll be repainting to match the car. I have everything on me here today. I have a lot of sandpaper. I have some for the electric sander as well, just to get them started. I have everything, including Bondo if I need it. I don't know how bad the spoiler is. We'll see if we have to repair that. I have correct code for the paint here. You can see that. I have a spray gun, compressor, and I have a tarp to lay down to prevent dust from kicking up as much as possible. I have a mask, tape, and then some measuring cups, which we'll go over how to use later. But that is everything I need, and we're gonna jump right into this. Alrighty guys, so we got everything off here. We have our bumper there, our spoiler there, all this stuff are there. I'm really nervous because, you know, I wanna sand this bumper down, and that's a big component of the car, so I don't know how it's gonna look. We're gonna take it one step at a time. I did paint match stuff before and it didn't look too bad. The mirrors actually have paint matched, so I'm gonna do that to this. But first I'm gonna start with probably that front lip, get that sanded down, then move on to the side skirts, then go to the spoiler, just see how things are going, and then we'll try and tackle the front bumper. That was quite a task. I got it all sanded down pretty good. You can see it's still there. I gotta clean it up with some rubbing alcohol or something to make it look better. There's some dust on there and everything, but that's ready to paint. Basically what I did is I started at a 320 grit, then I went to 600, and then to 1000. If you just lay down some Bondo or something like that, the best is to start at 80 grit and then work your way up to 1000. But I didn't, it was just, you know, it's all just plastic, so it just needs to be sanded and then ready to paint. And then the 15 and 200 grit is for wet sanding after you finish painting. That's kind of polish the clear coat there. So we're gonna save those for later. But basically what I have to do now is I have to go ahead, I have the side skirts right there, gotta get those all sanded up. Then I'm gonna break out the electric sander and I'm gonna hit the spoiler here with 80 grit because that's got some nasty dings in it. Hopefully get that all cleaned up and nice. And then kind of the same thing. I think I have a higher grit with the electric one. I'm gonna get the highest I can and just go in there and knock everything down on there. I gotta basically knock all as much of the clear coat as possible off. And then that'll be ready to paint as well. Hopefully I can get it all done today. I'm running out of daylight, but we'll see what happens. Guys, so as you can see here, I have both of these sanded up pretty nice, as well as that front lip. So these are basically ready to paint. I just have to clean them up. I'm gonna wait till I actually go to paint them. I have the bumper and the spoiler left. I'm gonna hit the spoiler first. Just so you can see, there's like a lot of hard chips and stuff in here, some nice grooves and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I have a hand sander. I'm gonna hit it with some, looks like I'm probably gonna do the highest I can do, 120. Maybe I'll start at 100. We'll see what happens. I'll probably go with the 120. It seems to be the best. And then I'll just get it all really, you know, cleaned up as much as possible to get it smooth as possible. And then I'll hand sand it the rest of the way, working my way up again from 320, 600, and then to 1000. So let's do that. spoiler hanging from the ceiling, just because you can see how light coated that is there. This is a primer, this black on here. So I'm gonna recoat the areas, maybe even just the whole thing, with some new primer just to get everything to stick better. But that way it looks better, and hopefully I don't have any like different shaded paint, because like this is a really light color here and there's the black. Sometimes I can change the shade of your paint, so hopefully if I get some primer on there, and to feel like there's these tiny little dimples, I just don't want to go any further than I have to get these all dimples out. So hopefully some primer filler will get this wing looking pretty good again, and then we'll be able to paint it. So I'll throw some coats on this and then work on that in between things and sand it up. And hopefully within the next 45 minutes I can get everything ready to paint. There we go. So I have the new coat of primer on the spoiler there. I did it before and then I just time-lapsed the rest of it. So that's got on there. That's pretty dry now. I'll probably sand it in a little bit, but I have this all sanded down as well. Got all those nicks sanded and everything. Basically, this is at the point of no return. Either this is the best decision I made during this process or the worst. I guess I'll find out at the end and see how it turns out. But basically what I have to do now is prep the spoiler, and then I don't know if I'm gonna do it in here or if I'm gonna do it outside right there, but I have tarp down that I bought, and I'm gonna put that down so that way any dust doesn't just kick right up into the paint that I just freshly put on while I'm spraying it. Alrighty guys, so I got that spoiler all sanded up. You can see it's hanging there again. And then I went ahead and cleaned the bumper off and taped it all up. So hopefully all this tape will stop all the paint from getting on those areas right there and up in here. I get to paint all of this here tonight, hopefully. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything set up out there. Like I said, I'm gonna put the tarp down in the driveway, and then I got a few things here from the barn or whatever just to prop them up so I can spray them. And then hopefully I'll be able to lay a first coat on everything and show you guys that once I get that done. Alrighty guys, now we come to the exciting part where we get to paint. I picked up this spray gun, I don't know, probably a year or so ago at Harbor Freight for, I think it was like 150 bucks. We're gonna move on to actually mixing the paint. And that's what I wanna show you. I'm using Omni. You can get it from O'Reilly's. You can either call them with your paint code or they can look it up by VIN. On the paint itself, it shows you the ratio. So it is a 1-to-1 ratio with the reducer. So this is your paint, this is your reducer. So between these both, you have about a quart of paint, or a little bit more. Let me see, we'll see here. Yeah, it makes 1 quart of paint between these two. Now, obviously you don't wanna mix it all at once because it only has a shelf life of 2 hours once you mix it. So what you want to do is just put it into, I have these cups and these cups, whichever ones you want to get, mix it in there. And then after you lay, I'm going to do 2 coats unless it looks really bad. I'm going to do 2 coats of paint and then 1 or 2 depending on the looks when I see it, of the MC270 clear coat. Same brand, Omni, everything. You can get them together. I think both of these were like 170 bucks. That was actually a year ago, so you can probably check on that. But I looked and I don't see a ratio on here, so I looked it up in a user's manual, and this is a 1-to-4 ratio. So 1 part hardener and 4 of the clear. What I'll I'll do is I'll just mix it in the can. And we're gonna take this, we're gonna fill to that 4 ounce. Try and pour in the center. This stuff does smell really strong, so you might want to wear a mask when you're doing this. I'm definitely going to wear a mask when I'm spraying. Need 8 ounces right there. Okay. So that should be the correct ratio right there. I'm going to mix this up here. Now that I got that all mixed up correctly, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the gun. Okay, so it's quite dusty in here. I forgot to put my mask on, so make sure you guys don't forget that. But I got a first coat laid down on practically everything here. There's that front lip. Sadly, the time lapse, I forgot to move it. So, but I got those there. I got a coat on the spoiler here. Looking pretty good. And then I redid the front bumper. We're gonna let everything sit, and then we'll come back for a second coat. But in between each coat, you have to wash your gun up very, very well. You can do a full breakdown on that. There's videos on that. Basically, you can spin this collar off the front, you can pull the needle out, wash your canister, everything. So I'm gonna go wash everything up, and then again, like I said, I'm gonna let it sit for a few, and then I'll come back and do a second coat. Alright guys, so it's been about 15-20 minutes, and this is pretty dry. I went and looked it up again, and I was wrong. You only want about 10-15 minutes in between coats. So I'm gonna go ahead and put another coat on here and see how things start shaping up. But depending on how many coats you do, you wanna wait 30 minutes, and then you wanna apply what it says is about 4 to 5 coats of clear coat. Each one wants to be wet, but not tacky. So the way to tell is you lay it down, you should be about 10 minutes, and then you just lightly touch your finger to it. Your finger shouldn't stick, but it should still be wet. So, but we're not to that part yet. We're gonna go ahead and lay another coat of actual paint down. And like I said earlier, don't forget to wear your mask. I did, so now my face, and I have all in my nose, so. But make sure you put on a mask, and if your glasses if you want to as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and lay on a second coat.
I've made a huge mistake.
Alright guys, so let me give you a little bit of story what's going on here. I went ahead and put some stuff back in the gun and tried spraying it, and it turned out really funny. You can see it hardened like in streaks. I was like, what's going on here? I started spraying it. I noticed it right away, luckily, so this is the only part that got spray on it that has that. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is it doing this? And then it clicked with me. I didn't use lacquer thinner to clean the gun. I used water, and you can't use water because that separates the paint. So I had to go get some lacquer thinner. I didn't have some with me, so I had to go into town and get some. And so I'm back now. I'm mixing up a fresh batch of paint because I ruined an entire batch. Very expensive, so please don't make that mistake. I'm gonna be mixing it up. I'm gonna put a little bit in the gun just to make sure the problem went away. Spray a little bit on something different just to make sure the problem went away. And then in between, when you clean it, make sure you use lacquer thinner and lacquer thinner only. So let me finish mixing this up and then see how this goes. So I went ahead and threw a second coat on everything here. As you can see, everything's still a little wet, nice and shiny. It'll dry to like a matte finish. Should dry pretty quickly actually. And I looked it up again, and the duration between your base coats and your clear coat should be about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna wait about 30 minutes, go do something else, and then I'll come back, and what they said is you wanna apply about 4 to 5 coats of clear coat, and you want the duration between each coat to be about 10 minutes. Alrighty guys, so it's been about 30 minutes. I have it all, it's all dried up, I'm saying here. Looks pretty good. So next is the clear coat. Like I said, you want 4 to 5 coats. I'm just gonna base it on what I see there. We have the MC270. It is a 4-to-1 ratio, so 4 part clear coat and then 1 part hardener. So basically what I'm gonna do here is, instead of using the whole chart thing here, I'm just gonna do what I did over there. I'll go by ounces. I'll probably put like, I don't know, probably like 4 ounces with 1 ounce hardener, right? So if you're following me, 4 ounces of clear and then 1 ounce of hardener, and then that should mix together, and then we'll spray our first coat, and then I can go ahead and just keep mixing it up because it's only 10 minutes. As long as if you spray the gun every like 2 or 3 minutes, you should be good to just leave it and not have to clean it in between each one. So like I said, first things I'm gonna do is get some clear coat mixed up and start my first coat. So I'm outside taking a breather really quick. I had everything all painted with a first coat of clear coat. The compressor is still running, it's still catching up. But basically you're gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes until it like gets dry and then sort of like a little bit tacky almost. And then we'll go back and throw another coat on. So in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and throw another coat on there. All right, so things are looking pretty good here. I think they're quite ready for a second coat. I'm gonna go ahead and throw another coat on. Alright guys, so it has actually been a few weeks, and I just didn't want to make this a solid one video because it'd be just plain too long. I have the Civic behind me because I'm actually going to be recording the last part to the second video. So if you watch this one, make sure you go over and check that one where I put everything on and see how it looks. It's right behind me, but yeah, you're not going to see it. So make sure you go check out the other video if you want to see the reveal on how it looks. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.